Unearthed tombs, eerie sacrifices, and skeletal mysteries, history holds some truly chilling secrets. From vampire burials to ancient chemical warfare, these archaeological discoveries will send shivers down your spine. Ready to dig into the darkest corners of the past? Point 01. The Pit of Bones. In 1987, researchers in the Atapuerca Mountains in Spain discovered a cave housing the skeletal remains of at least 28 people.
Anyone digging here is almost sure to make an interesting find.
Anyone digging here is almost sure to make an interesting find. Those ancient human remains crossed 430,000 BC, while holding the title of oldest human skeletal remains ever subjected to scientific analysis. The years-long excavation followed by research revealed a terrifying discovery because one of the individuals experienced brutal murder. A thorough reconstruction of the victim's skull showed two noticeable wounds made by powerful blows. Two severe blows with a stone axe or a spear seemed to indicate the person received these injuries from repeated attacks with blunt weapons. None of the authorities could determine if the deceased person was a male or female. And yet researchers have conclusively established this was an intentional murder. The discovery of Neanderthal remains reveals the human world's first documented case of interpersonal violence, thus providing evidence of ancient human conflicts and dark prehistoric acts. They painstakingly pieced the skull back together and found two head wounds. Researchers used partial skull remains from at least 20 hominins found at the pit to reconstruct the fossils, which displayed evidence of severe head trauma. Severe traumas found on some of the skulls demonstrated that individuals survived multiple attacks, although severely injured, while other skulls displayed fatal wounds. The strong concentration of skull injuries suggests early humans lived through vicious life experiences that could have involved deadly ritualistic deaths, or violent executions, or combats. The large number of people with traumatic head wounds at the site creates disturbing speculations about this historic burial site. The individuals of earlier human populations became subjects of mass destruction, a series of murders. This site operates as either a disposition place for those who died from violent battles, or it serves as a final resting place for all mortal remains. The unearthed prehistoric site, with its ancient crime evidence, has revealed a distressing picture of early human society which slept beneath earth layers for hundreds of thousands of years. Point 02. The Knife-Armed Man. In 2018, archaeologists in northern Italy discovered a mass burial site dating back to between the 6th and 8th centuries CE. One of the deceased was a middle-aged man whose arm had been amputated and replaced with a knife. Upon further examination, the researchers found evidence that he had worn the weapon as a prosthesis. The scientists studied the excessive tooth wear and shoulder deformity to understand the adjustments made by this medieval fighter with his horrific artificial limb. Expert analysis indicates that he recurrently used his mouth to secure knife straps, thus leaving permanent marks on his bone structure through continuous practice. The finding demonstrates that he acquired proficient skills with his artificial appendage after losing his original hand. The researchers near the site found harness remains with a buckle which together formed the weapon attachment used on his arm. These findings reveal a man who survived amputation, then successfully learned to fight with his amputated limb.
I'm gonna kick his ass one-handed!
Point 3. The Scottish Frankenstein Mummies, 223. The inexplicable is often the creepiest. In 2001, excavation at a Bronze Age settlement in Scotland uncovered two skeletons, a man and a woman. The skeletons were approximately 3,000 years old and had been intentionally mummified.
That we discovered the very first evidence for mummification anywhere in Britain, well, in fact, for that matter, anywhere in prehistoric Europe.
The prehistoric burial site presented a terrifying discovery because it did not contain regular dead corpses. Research revealed that the skeletons contained minimal body parts from single persons, since they were organized into disturbing multiple-person arrangements. A disturbing amalgamation of body parts composed of a female figure, which scientists stitched together from an unidentified forearm with a male skull and a female torso.
This was a woman's body with a man's head, probably at least 100 years older than her body, and in her hands she was holding 2 of his teeth.
The bone composition of what had supposedly belonged to a man revealed the most disturbing aspect, since it included bones extracted from 3 distinct male bodies. The discovery of combined human remains led to worrying questions about whether somebody had artificially built those bodies for ritualistic ceremonies and symbolic meaning. Was this common funeral practice from ages past, or did darker activities produce these strange arrangements? These archaeologically discovered Frankenstein-like skeletons continue to be recognized as among the most chilling unearthed African remains. Point 04, a prison for witches, 330. The Great Scottish Witch Hunt of the 16th century led to mass trials. In Aberdeen alone, 31 cases were recorded in 1597.
It's a society where people really believe in magic and supernatural beings. You could meet the devil walking down a street.
An iron ring 2 inches wide became embedded within the church wall to show how irrational fear controlled individuals during that period. The ring operated as a tool to confine witchcraft suspects through their entire pre-trial period before death often became their fate. People strongly believed witches possessed the ability to murder enemies and make crops dry up, followed by the drowned deaths of innocent children. Commoners terrorized by supernatural events caused them to commit unprecedented atrocities against fellow community members, which made this period of history even more disturbing.
People really feared witches. They could kill them, they could harm them, they could harm their animals, they could make the crops fail, they could drown them, they could kill their children.
Point 05, ancient chemical warfare, 430. In 2009, archaeologists excavating Dura Europos in modern Syria found evidence of one of the oldest uses of chemical warfare. 20 Roman soldiers were killed by inhaling sulfur dioxide, a gas created from burning sulfur and pitch. The toxic gas produced inner tissue damage when it reacted with lung moisture by converting into burning acid, which destroyed respiratory structure until suffocation occurred. The tragic finding demonstrates that chemical warfare predates the present day, since its historical origins go back to thousands of years ago. Historians remain shocked by the ingenious methods of brutality found in ancient warfare because humans have proven themselves capable of unlimited destructive action since antiquity. Point 07, vampire graves, 620. In Poland, 17th century graves revealed skeletons with sickles placed over their necks to prevent them from rising as vampires.
We found a female skeleton with an iron sickle around her neck and a padlock on her toe.
Fire played an essential role in traditional Slavic funerals because it liberated the soul and stopped deceased spirits from remaining near earthly beings. The adoption of Christianity resulted in a change from cremation toward burial practices, thus creating profound anxieties among the population. The human spirit might become stuck in this state. The possibility exists that people who die could return from death. The fear of undead creatures gave rise to various burial customs. that prevented body possession, including corpse staking and stone weighting and pre-mortem decapitation. What happens next? Research shows that human history reveals its dark side through the discovery of sacrificed victims and victims of mass brutality. The skeletons and fractured skulls, in addition to strange artifacts found by archaeologists, become silent witnesses to past human actions of violence and desperation and superstitions which existed hundreds of years ago. These actions emerged because of life demands, or because of a thirst for dominance, or out of a system of convictions. The actual explanations about these discoveries match the level of fascination they generate without providing comfort. Throughout the examination of our ancestral history, we wonder which ghastly secrets still rest beneath our present-day foundations. Among these discoveries, which one would create the largest chill within you? Post your thoughts in the comments section below.